What's up, guys and gals and whoever wants to hear me talk? Today I'm going to do a different kind of video. Basically it's an ownership review of this here 2010 Aston Martin V8 Vantage. A lot of reviewers, give a review. They literally have driven the car for 15 minutes, and most of the time these people don't really know what the heck they're talking about. So I figured I would give a long-term review for anyone that's interested in purchasing one of these awesome vehicles. Do it. Don't even think twice about it. You can get a lot more performance for the dollar, but when it comes to hand-built British sports car, manual transmission, V8, the weight balance, the materials they use, unbelievable value for the money. And I would gather that these have already significantly increased in price over the last year, just like everything else, but I think going forward these are going to be a timeless classic that people are really going to appreciate even more from now as cars become more dull and boring. And anyway, I'm going to give a bumper to bumper review. I know what you're thinking on that, but gonna start from head to toe, kind of go over everything that's happened over just provide as much information about what a great car this is, and spread awareness about it and all that sort of stuff. Picked it up in October 2016. I purchased the car. I was searched for about a year for the vehicle, and I purchased the car out of a place called Foreign Traffic near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I flew there one way with my wife, and we both agreed that the car was in pretty good shape. It had some tire pressure monitoring system was messed up, and there was a dent in the front grille. So as you can see, I replaced the normal 6-bar grille with the classic 8-bar grille. We signed the documents to get the car and drove it home 450 miles to Chicago. So we left around 4 p.m., arrived near Chicago at about midnight, and the Dan Ryan, the toll bridge was closed. Someone had gotten into a head-on collision on the highway. They completely shut the highway down. So unfortunately, around Gary, Indiana, those of you that are familiar with the region, the Northwest Indiana region, not the nicest part of town. So basically we had to drive through Gary, get off the highway, and then proceed to take side streets going through the southeast and south sides of Chicago in the middle of the night, which, as you know, is not the safest place to be. I kept stopping at stop signs, and my wife was like, "Just go!" Nobody was out, thankfully, which kind of actually makes it a little scarier down there. But anyway, made it home safe and sound. So while I had the car in Chicago, it was really nice to have a dealer there to help with things. I mean, I did do a lot of the work myself. I installed this grill myself. I've done other videos on the catch can and some of the modifications and things like that. Oil changes, do myself. Overall, the car is extremely well built, and as long as you don't have any sort of weird electrical issues, you can pretty much do all the work yourself. It's extremely well built. Everything is metal, leather, rubber, not a lot of plastic in the car, which makes it nice to work with. Had a few things done. The thermostat had an issue, saying if your temperature gauge is slightly below where it's supposed to be and while you're running at higher speeds, that means you need a new thermostat. I wound up using a $15 Ford Motorcraft thermostat that's found in the F-150. Works great. Has not had an issue in the 4 years plus since I've done that. So had a lot of good services at the dealer. They changed the rear brake pads before I bought the car. The clutch and the front brake pads were changed. So if you can find a car with a fresh clutch, that's definitely the way to go. Haven't had any issues, no replacement, and I'm at about 35,000 miles. And also I think it helps to know that I actually know how to drive a manual properly and not beat the crap out of the car. So anyway, a couple years ago I drove the car out here 2,000 miles in 3 days. No issues whatsoever. Made it through a blizzard in Nebraska, which was fun. Also snow drifting and whatnot in Wyoming. That was also fun. But other than that, pretty much just a straight trip. This particular vehicle As you can notice by the lightweight rims it has on it, it has the sports package, which is a much firmer suspension. I would highly recommend the suspension. It's good. It's not super crashy. It is noisy. The tires are big, but it has a pretty good luxury feel to it. Overall, the car is amazing for just general GT cruising and cruising windy roads, things like that. Not exactly a great race car. It's just kind of heavy. And I'll get to, you know, what I'm going to replace this with later. It took me a long time to find a car worthy of replacement, but anyway, I think you guys will find it interesting what I did replace it with. So anyway, let's start, I guess, from the front bumper and just kind of work our way back, all the things I like and don't like, and if I had any issues with it, and we'll go from there. So as I mentioned before, I replaced the original 6-slat grille with this 8-slat grille. I think it looks really nice this way. I think it gives it a better look, and it was actually, I think, like $20 cheaper or something to get the older grille. Fits in perfectly just like any other one of the grills. There's obviously a lot of options. Your personal preference will take the cake there. One thing that doesn't really work is parking sensors. I don't know why, they just don't work. But you have to be really careful when you're parking this thing, is the hood or bonnet is quite long, so you really have to make sure that you stop short and don't smash your $500 or $100 grill in, or your gosh knows how expensive front lip, front hood, things like that. I never had any issues with the headlights. Definitely, if you can, get the bi-xenon like I have. They look really cool and do a really good job. They're nice and bright, provide that cool xenon glow. I was never able to find any smoked out side markers. I know Rich from Red Pants was working on that, and he had issues with his builder, and it never really worked out. One upgrade that you definitely need to do if you are buying one of these is get the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. The Bridgestone RE 170s, whatever the hell they are, they're terrible. They sound like wood blocks. They provide crappy grip, and they're really noisy on the road. These are super quiet by comparison and provide really good grip overall. I just had these replaced, like, I don't know, not too long ago, and I'm just kicking myself. Okay, so some of the modifications I've done, you can't really see. Moving our way back here, in this area here is the GT4 airbox kit. Pretty cool mod, makes it sound a lot more open and just nice in general. Definitely get some intake howling, and also it probably gives you a horsepower too. I'm not so sure about that. But anyway, definitely a worthwhile modification if you do decide to go that route. It's not too expensive and not too difficult to install. The oil catch can here, another worthy modification, keeps the oil out of the intake manifold here, as it apparently does suck up quite a bit. Changing the oil, yeah, no big deal. The engine, the 4.7 liter, is definitely the way to go with this car. If you can buy a post 2009 model, I would highly recommend it. There's so many changes that have been done on the inside of the car, as well as just the general performance, because it was pretty lackluster when it came out in 2005. But yeah, everything in here, nice metal, nice rubber, really great to work on. You know, you got this billet aluminum stuff. I mean, it's just a really high quality motor car. It sounds awesome. This 4.7 liter V8 revs up to like 7,500 if you want. I never really get it that high, but man, it howls when you do. Yeah, so that's pretty much the engine. I didn't do anything else other than the Velocity AP tune. I'm not so sure that was really worth the money, honestly. It seemed to, I don't know, it made it slightly better, right? Like it was already pretty good, but I think maybe money might be better spent on a lightweight flywheel, because that's really kind of the issue with the car. It has a really heavy flywheel, and that causes the throttle response to be pretty slow. You know, and when they made the car, they wanted it to be more of a GT cruiser. They didn't want to have as much engine braking and blah blah blah. I like that a little more, a little sportier. Makes the car seem more nimble, throttle response better. I don't know. I would probably do the flywheel instead of the tune first. If I was keeping the car, that would probably be the next upgrade. So anyway, moving further back, under the engine, I changed the catalytic converters from the standard 600 cells to 200 cells, and wow, what a difference. The sound this car makes is just perfect. It's nice, deep sound, you know, in the lower RPMs, and when you really step on it, oh my gosh, it's like, it just unleashes hell. It sounds so great, and would highly recommend if you have a 2010, which is actually 2010 to like 2013. The exhaust was actually kind of quiet on these, but if you want to live it up, I have the stock exhaust, but just 200 cell cats and these air intake kit, and it really livened it up and makes it sound like a true exotic car should. So without further ado, let's take a listen. Yeah, let's go on the inside, take a look in there and show you what options I have and what I would recommend. One of the options it came with was this micro spin alloy fascia for the waterfall. I like it. It's not as reflective and doesn't get as dusty as piano black. There's no piano black in here. It's all gray. We got this nice aluminum, pretty sure it's aluminum, ring around here, metal doors for this, or alloy I guess, leather everywhere. I mean, this leather is so nice, it's super soft, so the seats will look a tad wrinkly. You know, it actually looks worse than it is, but the leather will get a tiny bit loose here, and you know, there's things you can do to tidy it up, but overall this leather for a 35,000 mile 11-year-old car is in pretty tip-top shape, honestly. Like, the leather everywhere, super nice. You know, it's leather door, leather here, alloy metal. You do have some alloy switches, but plastic surrounds for the automatic doors. Leather down here, you got leather everywhere, and it smells still like a brand new car. These, put some protective film on them. They will get scratched up a little bit. I never did that, like an idiot. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. Probably had some scratches on it already, but yeah. I know Doug DeMuro had issues with his owner's manual, but you just have to put it parallel to the ground, and the door shuts up no problem. Oh, get memory seats right here. Get memory seats, that's another option. Get the premium audio. This stereo system kicks hard. I mean, it's a really great audio system. Nobody ever talks about car audio in car reviews. I think it's really important to have a nice stereo system, and this one of the best I've ever heard in my life. 2 subwoofers behind the seats, and man, they just rattle your guts if you listen to bassy music. So get a manual. Extremely important for resale value. They only made like, I want to say like 15% take rate on these, and the auto slush box, the auto manual that they had, was kind of garbage according to basically everyone. So If you are going to get one of these, get one of these. It'll preserve the value greatly. If you've seen what's happening in the car market today, unbelievable what a naturally aspirated engine with a manual will sell for these days. And this is a good sports car too. One other thing you're going to want to add, if your stereo doesn't come with the Bluetooth music streaming, very likely it doesn't, because anyone that did it, you have to pay like $2,500 at the dealer to have it done. You can buy the Bovie 1000, and this is a little dongle that you hook up to a iPad cable that, you know, goes down in here in the center console, and you just tuck it away. And then you can listen to Bluetooth streaming music, so you don't need your auxiliary cord, which is nice. The only thing that sucks, though, is that you cannot take phone calls. So it's kind of one or the other with this. You can do Bluetooth phone calls, but you just can't do Bluetooth streaming audio, which, I don't know. I guess in 2010, that was kind of, you know, super luxury technology. Key that goes in, that will chip. I got mine chipped. Can't really see it. It's just a tiny little crack in the upper right hand corner here. You can kind of see it. It's honestly, it came like this, and I haven't had any issues with it. I never dropped the key. The valet key with the rubber buttons will totally get crapped up, so I actually use this freaking $1,400 key most of the time because it slides in and out of this thing really nicely. If you're trying to buy one and it doesn't have this crystal key, I would recommend that they buy one for you, because I use it more than the rubbery plastic one, because the plastic, it'll get stuck in here too, which is also really annoying. Another thing to know, the AC in here, it blows, but it's not super great. I mean, it'll keep you cold. I've been driving this around in 100-degree heat. Keeps you mostly cold. That's about it. I'm not going to say it's great or anything like that. But yeah, it's interesting how it works. These you know, you turn the knobs here. This is the fan. This is the temperature. You got to hit the AC button to turn it on. Very confusing. This whole system stinks, except for the stereo itself, which is really good. You got these confusing little ghetto menus that have like stuff pop up. It's kind of primitive, I guess is the best way to put it. This here will open the hatch in the back. This here is your lock and unlock. Very strange place to put it, right? But yeah. Another thing you definitely want to make sure that has been recently completed on the car is your door struts. I did that recently, and it makes a huge difference. You can just kind of put your door wherever you like now, even on hills. Your door won't slam on your leg when you go in. So definitely get that fixed. I like window tint, definitely kind of a must for a black car at least. I think it looks really sharp when it's all blacked out like this. Make sure the gas cap works. Mine does, but sometimes you have to hit the button like 3 times, which is kind of annoying. As you can see, it is a little bit off center. There's a wider gap here, there. I'm not going to mess around with it. Basically, you adjust the screws in there, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. But anyway, coming around back here, don't need to change the exhaust. Like I said, if you just do the 200 cell cats, makes it plenty loud. Definitely get the clear tails. Looks more exotic and interesting, I think. There's really not a whole ton to talk about back here, but if you take this parcel shelf folded forward, the exhaust will sound louder in your cabin. I don't know if anyone's ever told anyone about that particular hack, but yeah, it does. As for the trunk, not a lot going on here. Back here on the right, pull this panel away. There's a little DC outlet where you can plug your trickle charger into. That's super handy. I use that all the time because I don't daily drive this anymore. But yeah, overall, this is a really good car. And if you're looking to get into the entry-level exotic scene, I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to do better for the money. You can get one of these for, you know, mid-50s, and that's after the prices have increased a ton. We used to be able to get these for 30s and 40s about 2 years ago, and still they're gonna keep appreciating because these are one of a kind, limited quantity cars with great materials. Everything is high quality, and basically the paint, everything is just, it's really well done. I know you can't really see a whole lot here, but like the paint quality is, it's so thick. There's no orange peel. If you see orange peel, it's been resprayed. Also another good thing to look out for. And yeah, so I mean, I've taken this on 1,000-mile journeys, 100-mile canyon runs, I mean, you name it, and it's been rock solid for me, honestly. Like, the only thing I've had is the stuff it came with, and then the thermostat. Other than that, it's just been replaceable stuff. You know, the consumables, as they say, which are not covered by a warranty anyway. Even if you burn out your clutch, it's not covered by a warranty. So don't pay $7,000 like an idiot for a warranty, unless you're, you know, severely worried about the quality of the car, like it has no history or something like that. If you got a guy with records of what he's been doing, you're probably fine. So anyway, 4.5 years. I'm gonna miss her, but the upgrade has been a long time coming. I don't just hastily trade cars like some of these fucking YouTubers who just every week they're getting a new car. I'm like, how's that even possible? Must have daddy's money or something like that. I don't know. But I buy all this with all my own money, and I am very meticulous and save for a very long time for these vehicles. So anyway, if you're interested in buying this beautiful Aston Martin, it is still for sale. Contact John Overton at Overton Automobile Brokers, and he can help you out. I believe we're asking mid-50s for this car, but it's a 2010 and a half, 35,000 mile, under 35,000 miles, like 34,600 or 700, something like that. So anyway, you got any questions, please ask. I will gladly answer any questions. I feel like I am an Aston Martin expert at this point, having owned it, drove it for so long, and really loved it. I'm gonna miss it a ton. So anyway, let me show you what I got on deck here, and what's next for CTP 1111 here. So here it is. Here's what I'm getting. It's a 2022 Porsche Cayman GT4 in shark blue with black wheels, black calipers, standard brakes, manual transmission, leather interior, leather steering wheel, leather shift knob, and also getting speed blue stitching on the inside. That's the only thing that this configurator won't show properly. As you can see here, I got the LED lights, and it's pretty pimped out, to say the least. It's exactly how I want it. So anyway, this is it. And I love the color. I was originally looking at a Miami blue, but they actually discontinued it before I could order one. I didn't want a 2021 because Python green's not my favorite, and chalk is also a color that I just don't really care for. I wanted to have like a nice bright colored car, since all my other cars are kind of gray or black, or you know. Anyway, so yeah, this is it. It's an awesome sports car. It's quite a bit lighter. It's about 400 pounds lighter than my Aston. It's also mid-rear engine, so the steering balance is a lot better. It's just generally a better, newer vehicle. The interior is not as nice as the Aston, but I did spec a lot of the options to make the interior really nice. Got the leather interior, and some nice stitching, and I got the Bose stereo and other stuff like that. But yeah, I'm super excited. I plan on, doing more autocross, high-performance driving events, and obviously, the usual canyon cruises with my friends. They got some pretty awesome cars as well. I'll do a video on that someday as well. But yeah, there it is. It's a beautiful car. It's gonna show up in, well, it was originally going to show up in September, but because of the 2022 model year release and the CARB certification and a bunch of other nonsense, apparently October 1st is the date it's going to be released from port. And so yeah, that's that's pretty much it. As you can see, I spec the carbon fiber in the leather. And yeah, this white stitching you see here is actually going to be a speed blue color, which is very similar to the shark blue. I think it's going to look super nice. I got the extended stitching package, which is pretty cool as well. It goes out like all over the place, and on the shift lever and the steering wheel and all that stuff too. So looking forward to seeing it in person, and just, you know, getting it out to drive it. You know, it's another manual, which, you know, I could do a PDK, but, you know, I'm not overly concerned about lap times and stuff like that, so I don't need it to be the absolute fastest it has to be. But yeah, the seats, the car fits me nice. It's a German car, so, you know, I'm 6'6". The Aston fits me pretty well, but, you know, this is actually slightly larger on the inside, even though it's a slightly narrower car. It's very comfortable with these 18-way seats. I didn't get the buckets because I'm going to be using it a lot for, you know, daily driving and things like that as well. So just kind of a pain in the butt to get in and out of the buckets. Plus they cost quite a bit more. But anyway, yeah, here's the spec. Beautiful, simple interior. Small, light car with, you know, roughly the same horsepower that Aston has. And yeah, so that's going to be it for me. If you have any questions about anything, about the spec, where I'm getting from, you know, about the Aston especially, you know, it is for sale still at this very moment. So anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. If you watch this whole thing, I can't believe it. Anyway, please subscribe. Anytime I post a video these days, I lose like 30 subscribers. So anyway, I'd like to have at least a few fans before I hit 0. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.